What's up, everybody? It's your boy True Element 78 in the building with.
The reigning and defending Mondo Lucha Hall of Famer. Hey, what did you put in my drink? Cardi B survivor, the X-Man, Xavier Mustafa.
And ladies and gentlemen, I am the natural Chris Black. Try not to laugh at Mustafa's introduction.
And today is Thursday, April 4th, and you're listening to Saturday Night SlamCasters. And today we're going to be bringing you guys our Wrestlemania predictions, which, if you guys are unaware, we have a Wrestlemania predictions contest going on between the three of us. We're going to be doing the Burner Bliss Challenge. For those of you who don't know, if you go to VAT 19, they sell these chocolates called the Burner Bliss chocolates, basically. And what it consists of are 12 pieces of chocolate, 5 of which contain some of the hottest peppers in the world. You don't know which chocolates contain these peppers. So what's going to happen is that the bottom 2 people whose prediction points add up to the lowest or whatever, they will have to each select 3 pieces of chocolate at random and consume all 3 pieces of chocolate. This will be recorded on video and uploaded to our YouTube channel as well as Twitch. So you guys be sure to check that out on there, and be sure to follow us on social media on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and subscribe to the podcast as well. But we're going to get right into it. We're going to kind of give you a Raw and SmackDown review, but not necessarily, because the go-home shows were not all that they were cracked up to be. I think they were some of the weakest go-home shows that we've had in a while.
Super weak.
But we'll go through the WrestleMania match card, give our prediction points, and when we touch on matches that have storyline build or matches that do not have storyline build, we will touch on what has led to those matches and our thoughts and opinions on those. Also, we're going to touch on the John Oliver segment that he did this past Sunday about WWE and its insurance and independent contractors, how those things kind of contradict or whatever in his opinion. We'll give some thoughts on that. We got a lot of content coming for you guys. We got an interview coming up with Neil Dillinger. We're going to be giving our WrestleMania review is probably going to be in 2 parts. We have another show, an official show coming up for you guys next week as well. So be sure, like I said, to subscribe to us on all the social media platforms that we're on: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.com, Twitch coming soon. And yeah. So without any further ado, let's hop right into it. We got a kickoff show match, and this was just added a couple hours ago, actually. And I have my thoughts on it, but I will let Xavier Mustafa give his thoughts on it. I almost called you Mustafa Ali, and he's not even Mustafa Ali no more. You got your name. WWE did you a favor.
I got my name back.
He's just Ali now. He's the greatest. But we got the Raw Tag Team Champions taking on the Revival, taking on Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Xavier Mustafa, what are your thoughts? What are your predictions on this match?
I'm really confused. Like, how did this match come about? I'm not really sure. Look interesting on paper. So what I think is going to be the outcome of this match is, I'm crossing my fingers and I'm hoping that we get a Kurt Hawkins win out of this. So I'm going for Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins with the win over the Revival.
I missed. I had to step away from the mic for a second. What were your prediction and what was your prediction points?
I'm going with Zack Ryder and I forgot his name already. Kurt Hawkins.
It's okay. It's not important.
And I'm putting 4 confidence points behind that one.
I'm gonna go with the Revival. Although I feel like there's some funny business going on with the Revival. They lost to Ricochet and Aleister Black in a non-title match, to the DIY in a non-title match, and now they're putting up against Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. I don't know. I'm going for the Revival. But something tells me that the WWE might just make them go under and have Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins get a win. But for the points, I'm gonna go with the Revival. I'm gonna get 8 confident points because I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep the belts with those two jobbers.
And for those who don't know how these confidence points work, are you take the amount of matches that there are on the card, and for the WrestleMania card right now, as of Thursday, what we have calculated is that there's 16 total matches, but we're not going to be doing predictions on the Battle Royals. So that gives us a total of 14 matches on the card. So the match that you're most confident in, you assign 14 points. The match that you're least confident in, you assign 1 point, and everything else in between gets assigned points. You can't do doubles, so you can't give two separate matches, both 6 confidence points. Is either one's going to be 5, one's going to be 6, or one's going to be 7, and one's going to be 6. So that's how it works for those who out there need an explanation on that. With that being said, my predictions for this match, they've given Zack Ryder his moment at WrestleMania 32, I believe it was, when he won the Intercontinental Championship in the ladder match with his dad and everything like that. I think that they're going to keep those Raw Tag Team titles on the Revival. I think we're going to have some near falls and different things like that. But like I said, I think that those titles are staying with the Revival, and I am going to assign 4 confidence points to the Revival.
So you're just going to counter me like that, huh? Exactly. 4. Okay. All right.
Next up, we have the WWE Cruiserweight Champion Buddy Murphy taking on Tony Nese in also on the kickoff show. Chris Black, thoughts?
Okay, I'm gonna have to ask Mustafa because he's our resident NXT viewer. Now, I picked Buddy Murphy because there's no reason for me to think that Tony Nese is gonna go over, because I don't think Tony Nese is coming in hot. But I don't watch NXT, the television show. So, I don't know, Mustafa, you want to fill me in? Is Tony Nese hot right now?
Tony Nese is hot right now. Is he hot enough to go over for the Cruiserweight Championship? I say yes. So I'm going with Tony Nese on this one. I'm putting 8 confidence points behind it. And the reason why I think so is because Buddy Murphy has had that championship for a long time. So I think it's time for Tony Nese to have his WrestleMania moment.
Okay. I'm going to keep my points, but just based off of that, I kind of agree with Mustafa. I'm actually changing it to Tony Nese. I'm going to stick with the 9 points, but I just wanted to know if Tony Nese was hot or not because Buddy Murphy has had the title for a while, even though I'm still very impressed with him. But I think Buddy Murphy is the type of guy who can kind of ascend now from the cruiserweights, kind of like Mustafa Ali did.
Okay. I think that Buddy Murphy has been a great steward for the Cruiserweight title. So I think that they want to give him that spotlight here at Mania. I don't think that they see Tony Nese as a future star. So giving him his moment here at WrestleMania, to me, I don't necessarily see it. So I'm going to pick Buddy Murphy to retain, and I'm going to assign 6 confidence points. Next up would be the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale. We're not assigning confidence points, but who do we see winning the Women's Battle Royale?
Okay, so I have, from a booking standpoint, and according to WWE logic, which we all know is illogical, I don't know, as far as from a booking standpoint, just because this Battle Royal really doesn't mean anything, this would probably be a good time to put Lacey Evans over if she even is involved in this match. But she hasn't been doing much. It'd be a nice little thing. Maybe it comes down to the last 2 people or the last person, and she kind of does her music. She saunters down the aisle and then, I don't know, catches them off guard and throws them over.
I can totally see that happening.
I could see Lacey Evans going over. But WWE, in terms of WWE logic, since the Riot Squad is all in the Battle Royal, I see Ruby Riot also can go over. But final answer, Lacey Evans.
I like. Well, first of all, let's talk about this trophy. Have y'all seen this trophy? It looks like a uterus and a pair of ovaries.
Well, they said that last year, so they didn't change it.
I'm like, they kept showing it. I'm like, man, come on, y'all. Y'all could have put like Mae Young or like somebody on top of that
It's
thing.
the
Like,
uterus. It's the uterus battle royal.
I like what Salamonster said. Jason Salamonster. He said they should call it the Sensational Invitational for Sensational Sherry.
There
you
you
know
go.
what? I like that. See,
Yeah, I like that.
the ovaries and uterus, nah. As far as people that got listed for the Royal, I'm going to say either Selena Vega
Zelina.
or Zelina. Zelina Vega or Nikki Cross. I would love if she was listed on here, I would pick your pick, Chris Black, Lacey Evans. But since she's not listed, I'm gonna pick either Zelina Vega or Nikki Cross. 'Cause I think those are the two that are over, like kind of still over right now. I would say Asuka, but Asuka had a great showing on Tuesday, so I think for that reason they wouldn't put her over. She might be at the finals, but I don't think they'll put her over for it.
Yeah,
So yeah, those are my pick. I know it's a cop out picking two people, but
yeah. Until Chris Black said what he said, my pick was going to be Zelina Vega. But I look at what they've done with the Riot Squad over the past several months. With Ruby Riot basically just being completely jobbed out, her team being made to look weak. But I do think they've been kind of putting a spotlight on Sarah Logan of the Riot Squad. So my pick is going to be Sarah Logan for this. I know they want to have 20 competitors and they have only announced like 11. So we're going to get some surprises. I'm actually going to cop out though. I'm going to pick, if Rhea Ripley shows up, Rhea Ripley or Sarah Logan. Those are going to be my picks.
I
I
forgot
love
about
for
Rhea
Rhea.
Ripley.
I would love for her to show up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If Rhea Ripley comes to the main roster, I said Ruby Riott is in trouble. So is Sonya Deville.
Yeah. Hell, Becky Lynch might be in trouble.
So yeah, like I said, Ruby Riott or Sarah Logan. Those are going to be my picks for the Sensational Invitational. That's what I'm going to call it. Next,
Right.
we got the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale featuring Colin Jost and Michael Che of SNL fame.
Okay, so once again, in terms of from a booking perspective, from a booking standpoint, there's no reason why Braun Strowman should lose this match. There's no reason why he should. However, this is the world of WWE. I think Strowman's going to be distracted by those two guys from Saturday Night Live. He might get dumped out because of it, and I don't know, because of WWE booking, and I feel like they want to put Mustafa Ali over. I kind of think he's going to win in this battle royal.
That is my pick as well. I think it'd be good to put Ali over and start to kind of get that fire back behind him that he lost when he got injured and Kobe took his spot. I mean, not trying to say like Kobe did it on purpose or nothing.
Did you get to see the video of them backstage where Mustafa Ali basically was talking to Kofi Kingston about that?
No, I didn't get to see it. I saw it come across my feed though. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I saw it on the feed. I didn't watch
Yeah,
it.
Kofi pretty much was just telling him, he's like, you're kind of the reason I'm in this spot, not necessarily because you got injured, but your injury drove me to compete and inspired me. He's like, I saw what you were doing, and so it just made me go out there to put on a great performance for you, and it put me in the position that I'm in. So,
But I did see Randy Orton's comment to it too, where he was making fun of him.
from out of nowhere. I don't know. I could see Mustafa Ali going over. It's kind of funny because outside of WWE, we had a lot of strange things just happen in sports. Well, we already do have the celebrity guest of Michael Che and Colin Jost in the match, but we did just have damn. I just had the name in my head and then it went out. The New England's Patriot player who just retired.
What's the name? Gronk? Or
Yeah, Gronk. Just retired.
Gronkowski.
Yeah, Gronkowski. He remember he had the spot with Jinder Mahal last year, and he's shown interest in becoming a wrestler. So could he interview interfere in the match. Then you also just had Conor McGregor announce his retirement from UFC, but he does have those rape allegations, so I don't think WWE would want to put him on people's television screens at this point in time, so he might have missed that payday. I could see him coming in as like a ringer for Michael Che and Colin Jost. I'm going to go with Mustafa Ali as well. From a booking standpoint, it makes the most amount of sense. Maybe Mojo Rawley, this is where he finally comes out, and he won it before. Maybe they want to give it to him again, but I'm still going to pick Mustafa Ali, and I think that he's going to eliminate Mojo Rawley to win.
I can see that.
Next up, we're going to have the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, taking on Ricochet and Aleister Black, The Bar, and Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev in a fatal four-way.
This one was a tricky one for me because, and I know we're going to cover this later in the show, NXT Takeover. Aleister Black and Ricochet are going for the tag team titles there, and they're going for the tag team titles here on WrestleMania. So I kind of went back and forth with them, kind of went back and forth with the Usos retaining. I don't see them putting it on Rusev and Shinsuke or The Bar. So I'm going to go with Ricochet and Aleister Black winning the tag team titles. And I'm putting 3 confident points on that.
Okay. I'm going to start out by telling you my confidence points, and then you'll be able to see how confident I am not in this match. I'm putting 1 point on this match because I'm absolutely not sure. I do know it's going to come down between either the Usos or Ricochet and Aleister Black because The Bar is just not hot right now, and Rusev and Nakamura are just disappointing. So I want to say there's no reason to take the titles off of the Usos. But you have to kind of think that the Usos kind of got something coming because they helped Kofi Kingston get into this match by forfeiting their match to the New Day. So somebody might screw them, but I can't see Ricochet and Aleister Black winning off of a screwjob finish. So,
well, the screwjob is this match in general because that's why Alexa Bliss put them in the match.
Yeah. I'm gonna. God damn it! I'm gonna go with the Usos because there's really no. I don't think that it's a point to drop the titles to anyone at this moment. I think Ricochet and Black. You can only tell what happens on Friday. If they go over with the NXT titles, then they're not going to go over in this match, or vice versa. But I'm going to go with the Usos. With my 1 point.
I am going to go with Ricochet and Aleister Black, and I'm giving them 5 confidence points. Vince is wanting to put the Rocket. He said that none of the main roster are going to become stars. That's why he wanted to hot shot these guys all up from NXT, even though he had just called up people from NXT, and the only people getting any use are Heavy Machinery. So with that being said, and I know we're going to get into it later, or at least Mustafa's going to get into it later, covering NXT TakeOver. I see Aleister Black and Ricochet possibly winning the NXT titles and then coming Sunday and also winning the tag titles on the main roster. So 5 confidence points, Ricochet and Aleister Black. Next up, we got the match of the night. This is going to be the highlight of WrestleMania, everyone. Kurt Angle in his farewell match taking on Baron Corbin. Chris Black.
Okay. So, from a booking perspective, Baron Corbin should win. He should win. Kurt should go out on his back. But according to WWE logic, Kurt Angle is a strong possibility that he's going to win in his final match because Baron Corbin is just Baron Corbin, although in my opinion, he's become a much better heel, much better character since he's put on the goofy outfit. But I think I'm going to go with Baron Corbin, but I'm not that confident because I'm going to put only 3 points on it.
I'm taking the opposite route. I'm going to go with Baron Corbin, and I'm putting 9 confidence points behind this. So this will probably get me sucking on peppers at the end of the night, but this one I was very leery about this one, like, because I could see him going either way, but I think the right thing is to do Corbin.
Chris Black, what was your prediction? It was Kurt Angle. How many points?
No, I got Baron Corbin for 3.
Oh, 3. Okay. Baron
Oh, I thought you said Kurt Angle.
No, Baron Corbin.
And I got Corbin for 9.
Okay. This one is so difficult for me because the right thing to do would be to put Baron Corbin over. He's beaten Kurt Angle before. I don't want to see, like, Kurt Angle's already going to be having the waterworks going because it's his retirement match and they give him his moment in the ring and all that different types of stuff. What I don't want to see is him in the middle of the match crying like Ric Flair because he already, like, I'm a Kurt Angle fan, but it's just sad watching him move around that ring at this point. So to see him moving around the ring the way that he moves, like Ric Flair when Shawn Michaels retired him, Ric Flair can move around that ring still better than Kurt Angle can move around that ring right now.
Corbin should just destroy Kurt Angle. Like, this shouldn't even be a long match. He should just beat the shit out of him.
I think what's going to happen is I think they're not going to go long. Baron Corbin is going to screw his way to a win, but Kurt Angle's going to end up at top at the end so he can say his farewells.
Oh, he's definitely going to give him an angle slam before he goes.
Well, he could barely do the angle slam to Randy Orton. So, and Baron Corbin is bigger than Randy Orton.
Randy Orton probably sandbagged him too, so
I
don't think Randy Orton would do that to Kurt Angle. But yeah, I don't want to see the match. Like, what I don't want to see out of this match, and I know that Baron Corbin's a heel, and to get the heel heat and everything, that he would want to toy with Kurt, and like, I could beat you at any time right now. Look at you, you're pathetic. Like, I don't want to see him like go for the pin and then be like, no, I'm not ready to end the match, and slapping Kurt in the face and Kurt crying, and I don't want to see all of that type of stuff. If that type of stuff happens, Kurt Angle better freaking win. With that being said, I'm going to assign 3 confidence points to Kurt Angle going over.
Oh, going with Kurt, okay.
But I'm only giving him 3 confidence points. So.
Right. Me too. But not on Kurt.
Yeah, so next up, which this match infuriates me because from a logic standpoint, it doesn't make much sense. But you got the Intercontinental Champion Bobby Lashley accompanied by Lio Rush taking on, and they have it listed as the Demon Finn Balor. So we get to see the Demon here at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship, but when he had an opportunity to win the Universal title, a belt that he never technically lost, we got regular Finn Balor. Even though the Demon is the one who won the Universal Championship originally, for some reason the Demon was like, nah, Finn, you got this against this guy that outweighed you by 150 pounds. You got this. But yeah.
Are you saying that the Demon pulled a Incredible Hulk on what he did to Bruce Banner in Infinity War? He didn't want to come out and play.
Pretty much.
Brock scared him.
Pretty much. Hey, that's a great analogy. Yeah, pretty much. He got bitched out. But
this really bothers me about this. Like, you bring it out for Bobby. I know you just said this, but you bring it out for Bobby Lashley. Like, even though I like Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush, okay, it's basically 201. All right, I get it. But day one, you found out you was fighting Brock Lesnar. You should have been a Demon. Like,
I think they missed the boat. They should have put Demon Balor against Drew McIntyre. That should have been the match.
See, now this is what makes me kind of weary about this one because I want to put all my points behind Bobby Lashley, but then you got the Demon, and they're gonna try to want to put the Demon over. But then again, I'm like, well, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll actually have the Demon lose because you still got Leo Rush on the outside. So I'm gonna go, and again, this is probably my second reason why I'm gonna be sucking on peppers. Because I'm gonna put my money behind Bobby Lashley, and I'm putting, ooh, I'm putting 12 confidence points behind it.
Man, Bobby Lashley, I hope you're thinking about him when you're eating them hot ass peppers. There's no way. There's no way Demon Balor's losing this match. I'm so confident. I'm putting all 14 points on this bad boy. Finn Balor's for the win. He better not disappoint me. There's no reason why he shouldn't win. You know what? That's the only reason why they gave the belt back to Bobby Lashley, I believe, is so Finn Balor as the Demon can beat him at WrestleMania. That's the only thing that makes sense.
I think watching the Demon attack Leo Rush is going to be the highlight of this.
Yeah, Leo Rush been taking them L's for the last couple of weeks.
L for Leo.
Right.
I am gonna pick Demon Finn Balor as well, and I'm putting 10 confidence points behind that. Next up is a match that may be in question. Rey Mysterio did sustain an injury in his match with Baron Corbin on Monday night. So we don't know, but it's supposed to be United States champion Samoa Joe taking on Rey Mysterio, and I don't see Samoa Joe losing the United States championship to Rey Mysterio. I see if the match does happen, I see it just being a DQ finish or something like that. Because they really haven't had any interaction. Like, we've been seeing his son Dominique with him. We've been seeing Rey Mysterio's son Dominique with him. But we haven't seen Samoa Joe do Samoa Joe things with Dominique on SmackDown. So I'm going to pick Samoa Joe, and I'm going to assign 9 confidence points.
I'm picking Joe, 11 confidence points.
And I'm also choosing Joe for 11 confidence points because there's no way Mysterio's beating Joe.
Can I get an extra bonus confidence points if Samoa Joe puts hands on Dominic?
No, because it's Samoa Joe. Next up, we have AJ Styles taking on Randall Orton. A match that as far as on the SmackDown side, I think this match probably has some of the best build. I feel like Xavier Mustafa over there is probably the most invested in this match because of how they've been shitting on the indies, and I know how he feels about that.
Very, very much don't appreciate Randy Orton's comments. So that's why I'm going with AJ Styles on this one. And I'm putting 10 confidence points behind this one.
I'm going to go with AJ Styles just because Orton doesn't need to win. Yeah, there's really no reason for Orton to go over. I'm going to go with 13 points. I'm pretty sure there's no reason for Orton to go over unless you use WWE logic just because it's Orton.
Yeah, and he already hit the RKO out of nowhere on the springboard, so we've already seen it. So that right there gave me the confidence to say I'm picking AJ Styles and I'm putting 14 points on him.
How many points?
14, all of them.
You know what? I think I screwed up somewhere.
By picking Bobby Lashley?
No, because my writing here I got 13, but I also have 10. But I don't. I think I doubled up on a number somewhere on there.
What do you?
So
I think I got them written down.
I think I might have had 13 confidence points on AJ Styles, instead of 10.
So is it going to be 13 or is it going to be 10?
It's going to be 13.
Okay.
Both of you guys picked the most unlucky number for that match, and now I'm not feeling so confident.
13's lucky for me.
Like Taz. Next up, we got. Oh, I hate this match because I don't know who's gonna win. They already let Beth get her shit in on Raw. We got the women's tag team champions Bayley and Sasha Banks taking on Divas of Doom of Beth Phoenix and Natalya, the Iconics, and the Samoan Slaughterhouse of Nia Jax and Tamina in a fatal 4-way. Xavier Mustafa?
Ooh, this one's rough. Because this one is so rough, I only put 2 confidence points behind my winner. And I was going back and forth between Sasha and Bayley and Nia Jax and Tamina and the Iconics. I'm going to put my 2 points behind the Iconics.
Okay.
And it's so tough for me because I can see Sasha and Bayley retaining, but I can see Nia Jax and Tamina taking it too. But then I think they kind of got to give the Iconics something.
Yeah. You know what? Because I think all 4 of these teams has an equal shot of winning. I got 2 confidence points on this one, and I'm gonna have to go for the old. Okay, from a booking standpoint, I think Beth Phoenix and Natalya should go over because this would be the opportunity for Beth Phoenix to, I don't know, achieve something. I mean, they don't have to get the titles for long. I think that'd be a nice, I don't know, show of respect for Beth Phoenix for them to let her and Natalya hold the titles together. But according to WWE logic, I don't know, because Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka are just beasts right now, and a lot of times it's better for heels to have the title. And then the Iconics, SmackDown, just kind of has been the stepchild of WWE for a while. People kind of forget about SmackDown. The Iconics could have a good run, but because it's only 2 points, I don't know. There's no reason to actually take the titles off of Bayley and Sasha. So I'm going to go with them.
Okay, I'm also assigning 2 points to the Iconics. So Iconics across the board for 2. Next up, we got Shane McMahon taking on The Miz in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Chris Black?
This one, no, go ahead.
All right, so I could not justify, from a booking standpoint or even WWE logic, for Shane McMahon to go over in this match. There's absolutely no reason, not even heat-wise, for Shane to go over. So I got 10 points on The Miz.
Interesting. I went the total other way as far as confidence points. I got 1 confidence points on this match, and that's for The Miz. Just because I don't know who would go over in this one. No offense to The Miz, because The Miz is a great worker. I just don't care about this program. I don't care about the storyline, so I'm just going to go with The Miz.
You and I were on the same wavelength. I assigned 1 confidence point to The Miz.
What?
The Miz's track record when it comes to these personal rivalries has been trash, and especially at WrestleMania. You look at last year's Mania. You look at the Mania before that with John Cena. I don't know. And the Miz's WrestleMania track record is very questionable.
Yeah, but from a booking standpoint, it's just like, yeah, but Shane, what is he gonna do with a victory as a heel at this point?
He's the best in the world. He's just gonna keep playing that up.
Oh God, I don't want to see.
I kind of feel like the Miz is gonna be taking time off. It's Falls Count Anywhere. Shane O'Mac still has like the Mean Street Posse probably in his back pocket to be introduced to jump the Miz to write him off television to go be with Maurice as she deals with her pregnancy. So I want to see the Miz win, but I'm not so confident that it's going to happen on the grandest stage of them all. Next up, another one of the big matches of the night, which is going to be Triple H taking on Batista in a no-holds-barred match.
Okay, so, all right. Ever since the Undertaker Triple H match, I was like, okay, I think Triple H is on his, I think he's on his last tour as well. Kurt Angle's not the only one, except for I think Triple H is a little bit unofficial. And
Well,
Batista's one of those, huh?
Well, Triple H did come out and say if he can't beat somebody like Batista, he doesn't deserve to continue wrestling. So this is, I guess,
Right.
they don't have it listed as a retirement match or a farewell match. So I don't know if that was really him putting his career on the line. But
Oh, it is. It's no holds barred, and Triple H's career is online.
okay,
Okay, but you know what?
they don't have that listed. So
Just because he put his career on the line makes me feel like he's going over. I mean, do you think Batista's going to come back full time? So what, they both just going to, after that match, Batista's going to come back and Triple H is done? From a booking standpoint and WWE logic, it doesn't make sense for Batista to go over. It just doesn't make any sense. So
go ahead.
I'm going with Triple H. So much so, I'm going with that 12 points.
See, from Triple H logic, and don't get me wrong, I like Triple H. Triple H ain't losing at no WrestleMania. So Triple H, 7 confidence points for me.
are you ready to see the Triple H Thanos entrance?
Yes.
Is that what he's really doing? I heard that.
I don't know. Everyone thinks it's going to be Thanos. He's probably, well, no, he don't have the long hair. About to say, you probably come out looking like Thor or some shit.
Probably gonna come out like
he ain't got the hair.
He's probably
no
gonna come
more.
out like Galactus.
Oh God.
He's gonna go one over.
He's got to do. You know what? No, he's probably going to be Thanos, and Stephanie's going to be Lady Death.
But hold on, that means that she wouldn't be with him. That means Kofi Kingston would probably come out as Deadpool.
I wonder what their wrestling gear is going to be this year, because you know they do a theme every year.
Yeah.
Most people don't catch it, but
Well,
Shit,
they've
do
done
some African shit.
Yeah, they've done Dragon Ball Z. He's probably gonna come out as Black Panther. Like you're gonna have Biggie is gonna be M'Baka.
Baku.
Yeah, M'Baku. But yeah, so I am assigning 13 confidence points to Triple H winning this match. You guys pretty much hit on all the points. Plus, Batista himself stated that he wanted to come back just to put Triple H over because he gave him his opportunity. So, and also, Triple H is somebody that can always just be thrown on the card whenever they need it. They got the Saudi show coming up. We know Batista's not going to Saudi Arabia. He's already spoken out about that before. Triple H is definitely going over to Saudi Arabia and going to dance for them. So, yep, 13 confidence points. Next up, we got the Is This Your King match, where we have the WWE Champion, the new Daniel Bryan, taking on Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship.
Okay. Okay. So. This is the one that's it's polarizing as hell for most people, because from a booking standpoint, it makes sense that Kofi Kingston goes over. But this is the world of WWE, where logic sometimes doesn't exist. So I think that Daniel Bryan is going to ride this heat, and he's going to pin Kofi Kingston. And I have 4 points on that. I'm so interested in this match, the outcome of this match, but I'm so low on confidence points for this because it can go either way. Honestly, it really could go either way. I would love to see Kofi Kingston win, but I just, for the sake of points, I'm going with Daniel Bryan.
Really?
Yep. Unfortunately, I would love to see Kofi win, but I'm going with Daniel Bryan.
All right,
I think he's gonna ride this heat wave.
This is one of my heavy hitters, and like I said, I may have screwed up on the points somewhere, so I might have to change it. But right now, I have Kofi Kingston with 14 confidence points
Jesus
going over on
Christ.
Daniel Bryan. There's no way
Your butt
from
gonna be
a
feeling.
huh?
Your butt is gonna be feeling like all the memes about Ant-Man going up Thanos' ass,
Yeah.
thanks to you putting 14 confidence points on this match. But I'm gonna let
From
you
a
finish.
from a PR standpoint, from a WrestleMania moment, boyhood dream moment, they have to give it to Kofi.
Dude, okay, you
They
remember
have to.
that Thanos meme, the Avengers? Remember what it said?
Which one?
Where it says "fuck them niggas." That is how Vince McMahon is feeling about this feud. He's
I
like,
just,
yeah, the whole WWE universe is behind them right now, but man, fuck them.
The WWE doesn't need this for the PR. They got the triple threat women's match to get all those women are gonna be on ESPN the next day. I guarantee it.
yeah, but people on their ass about why y'all never had a black champion. The Rock don't count.
I feel
Dude, but The Rock said he does.
that is
But The Rock
says he
can't
does.
count it because he benefited from it.
that
They talked about him being Samoa, the Samoan Samoa.
But that's their
the entire time he was there.
That's their loophole. They're not gonna. It's like, of course we've had black champs. What do you call it? Then they're gonna be saying, "Hey, what are you trying to say? The Rock isn't black?"
Yeah, well, that's what I said I liked on our last episode where I like Mark Henry always said we had black champions. I was a black champion. The Rock was a black champion. So I don't know where all this conversation comes from. We haven't had black champions. And I like Booker T came out and said, no, we have not had a black WWE champion. Like all those other belts were secondary belts. Nobody has held the big belt in WWE that has been portrayed as black and classified as black. The Rock is ambiguous as hell. I view The Rock as black, but in WWE and in his everyday life, his Samoan heritage is much more on display than his blackness. Even in his movies, in his movie roles, he's more portrayed as Samoan than he is as black. The only movie where I can remember really that The Rock was like portrayed as black was Walking Tall.
Shit, I think he was very ambiguous in that movie.
But you know what the thing about it is, like, and I don't even want to say it's a totally racist thing about them more putting over his Samoa heritage. But I mean, The Rock came from a famous Samoa family, so
right.
Of course they're going to put that over more. But they just never really referred to the fact that he was black, except when he was with the Nation of Domination.
For 6 months,
but as soon as he separated. Right. As soon as he separated himself from the Nation of Domination, we was all talking about the Samoan heritage, the Samoan WWE champion. Well, no, not today.
Even when they had the
Kofi Mania, baby.
What was their name? The Disciples, the DOA, Disciples of the Apocalypse, or whatever it was, the biker gang. They was fucking with everybody but The Rock. And that was probably one of the most racist angles in modern history for the WWE. Having some bikers.
Because Kofi Kingston was just basically just a placeholder for the Elimination Chamber, I just don't see them investing into Kofi Kingston like that.
Yeah, also,
right now, it's because the crowd is hyped that they're putting him in matches. But like, someone said on a podcast or on a post or something, they're like, honestly, Kofi Kingston's lost, he lost the original Gauntlet match. He lost the Elimination Chamber. He lost at Fastlane. Why does he deserve a title shot? Remind me
lost
again.
Because the deck was stacked against him, which is the story that they're telling.
Right.
No.
That the deck has been stacked against this guy for the 12 years he's been there.
But like the Elimination Chamber, he lost clean in the Elimination Chamber. Clean.
Yeah.
He lost at Fastlane. Clean.
Yeah. Well,
he lost. The only reason why he lost the last Gauntlet match, yes, he got screwed. But the other matches, he lost clean.
Well, yeah, I am picking Daniel Bryan. 8 confidence points. I'm picking Daniel Bryan as much as I would love to see Kofi win, even if it's just for that night, just for that moment. I think that Kofi's promo on the Go Home show was trash, in my opinion. Daniel Bryan had a much stronger promo. He exuded confidence. Kofi didn't seem like he had the confidence behind his words. Like, he already knows that he's not going to show up to that building on Sunday and they're going to be like, you're winning the belt. He's being put in a precarious position where, like you said, a lot of people were coming at WWE's next. Why hasn't there been a black champion? Kofi Kingston needs to win. I also think that Kofi probably does feel some of that pressure, even though we know that it's all a gimmick and everything like that, where it's like he feels like he has so many people's hopes and ambitions on his shoulders that for him to already know what the outcome is, he knows that it's not going to be the best look. But from a business standpoint and of continuing this story and character evolution of Daniel Bryan needs to win. And continue on. I don't know who Kofi Kingston feuds with if he beats Daniel Bryan, and I don't know where Daniel Bryan goes if Kofi Kingston beats him. Now, I did post on our social media, for those who follow us on Facebook, I posted a fantasy booking post on there where I said Kofi wins, and because of what they're doing with the women's belts, where it looks like they're going to be unifying them, where Kofi does win, and then Vince comes out and says, hey, congratulations, Kofi. You showed that you could you could beat Daniel Bryan, but I still think you're a B-plus player, and here's your opportunity to prove to me that you're not. And Brock Lesnar's music hits, and they come out, and they announce that the following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it's a title unification match. And Kofi Kingston just gets his ass handed to him by Brock Lesnar, unifying both the Universal title and the WWE Championship. That's fantasy booking. But
I don't know if they're going to do that to the men's titles, but
that would be a straight up.
They're doing it to both. I called this months ago. As soon as that Fox thing happened, I knew this was going to happen because Fox is going. They're not going to want. They want the best show they can get possible, and because right now everything's on the same network, it doesn't matter because all the views and all that goes to the USA. But now that it's split on Fox gonna be like, wait a minute, why are you doing this for USA? The USA gonna be like, hey, why are you doing this for Fox? They have to unify those titles and get this brand split is slowly but surely not gonna happen in the next couple of months.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only way that I see Kofi Kingston winning is if Kofi Kingston wins, the brand split is gonna be ending. If Daniel Bryan wins, they're gonna keep the brand split. That's how I view it. So I'm putting 8 confidence points on Daniel Bryan. I know my fantasy booking to me would be amaze balls for that to happen because, like I said, the go home, like we said earlier, the go home shows were trash. Kofi Kingston, I did not believe anything that he said in his promo. I also didn't like in this storyline really that up until a week ago, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we hadn't heard Kofi Kingston speak up for himself. It was New Day that was constantly pushing him to stand up for himself and putting him in the situation that he was in. And I think that's why a lot of people were like, oh, like, it doesn't make sense that he gets a title shot because his friends won a match. Like, his friends were the reason that he was getting put in all the positions and all the beatdowns that he was getting and different things like that over the past several weeks. So from that standpoint, it did make sense. What didn't make sense was Vince McMahon not making an appearance on the Go Home show of SmackDown.
But you know what? Everybody doesn't have to be good at everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, okay, maybe his promos aren't the greatest.
But we know Kofi can cut a promo.
He's entertaining in the ring. He has good charisma. You know, you can say that about what's his name? Oh God, killed his family and everything.
Chris
like
Benoit.
he didn't cut good, Chris Benoit. He didn't cut good promos.
But we know Kofi can cut Kofi can cut good promos. That's the thing. And for him to be in this position that he's in, if this is what you've always wanted, I should have felt that emotion pouring out of you. I felt more emotion from Big E and Xavier Woods when they were speaking up for I don't know why my voice just went so high right there. When they were speaking up for Kofi Kingston.
I feel that passion.
But like I said, 8 confidence points. DB, retain the belt. I feel like they don't give you a custom belt for you to just lose it 2 months later or 3 months later. And Kofi's been given all these opportunities. Next up, we have the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar taking on Seth Rollins. Thoughts?
So, Lord, I think this kind of goes down to what the WWE wants to do with this title. Do they want to keep it on Brock and have a champ that's not around full time? Or do they want to give it to Seth Rollins, the guy who's going to be there every single night and going to defend that title? This is tough. I'm going to go with Seth Rollins, but it's not very confident. I'm going to put 7 points on it. Maybe it'll be lucky. But I'm going to go with Seth Rollins, although that's a long shot in my opinion.
How many points you say? You said 11?
7.
Oh,
I'm going to go with lucky 7. Maybe that'll bring me some luck. I don't know. I don't know why I'm not putting my money on Brock Lesnar, but I just think that they need a champ that's going to be there to represent the title. And I think Brock's time is over, to be totally honest. Yes, he's a beast. Yes, he puts on very good competitive matches, but they haven't built anybody to be any kind of a threat. So he's kind of wasted right now. So I think Brock needs to go away.
True Element, I'm going to let you go next.
I am picking Brock Lesnar to retain. He's looking in phenomenal shape. I do think he is gearing up for that UFC match, but I don't see Seth Rollins being the man right now. And they're about to head back over to Saudi Arabia at the end of April, or the beginning of May. So I don't see Brock Lesnar dropping that belt just yet. So I'm putting 12 confidence points on Brock Lesnar.
Well, I'm going to say great minds think alike, because if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I would have been all about Seth Rollins. But the build-up and everything going to this match, I think we're going to have Brock Lesnar with another victory. I think there's something else going on with the Universal title. It could be the whole Saudi Arabia thing like you just laid out. But I feel like there's more to that with Brock Lesnar. And my thought behind it is, okay, let's say they do decide to start merging these titles or whatever to get prepared for the Fox thing, right? Well, maybe they don't get rid of the Universal title, because maybe the Universal title is Brock's special thing, and the WWE Championship takes more of the forefront on both shows. And so, so it's like more of a special occasion when the Universal Championship is there. So that's what I think they might do with it. But so I'm going with Brock Lesnar, and I'm putting let's see where I got this match listed. 5 confidence points behind it.
Okay, I think for the second time tonight, because you guys have made some good points, especially being in Saudi Arabia, I think I'm gonna have to change my decision. Keep my points, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Brock Lesnar. I'm gonna have to switch. I'm not. I said I don't know why I'm not putting my money on Lesnar, so I'm just gonna go ahead and bet on Lesnar.
Okay. And I feel like we missed.
You missed. Yep. Yeah, you missed Roman Reigns.
Yep. I was wondering why I was missing some points. Okay. So and this probably is going to be his second to last match before the main event. Anyways, so I think Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan open up WrestleMania.
What?
They're opening.
He said, get that shit out the way, right? Get Daniel Bryan's win out the way.
Pretty much. So.
No, you start Kofi Mania with Kofi, baby.
Shit, it'd be on the pre-show then.
Hey,
got the pancakes nice and fresh.
So Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre.
You can go first, Mustafa. I'm gonna have to.
All right, so this one I'm putting 6 confidence points towards, and I'm putting it towards Drew McIntyre, because I think Drew McIntyre is going to get a big push after this. I think Roman Reigns can take a loss. I know this is going to be his first single match after coming back with leukemia, but then again, I still think Roman Reigns can still take a loss and still move forward in his career, where I think Drew McIntyre needs a big win right now.
Okay, so I don't feel bad now. I'm also going to go with Drew McIntyre for 6 points because at first I kind of was leaning towards Roman Reigns because, I mean, that's Vince's boy. But I think if you're going to build a monster, you can't let that monster get slayed too soon.
Which is what they did with Braun Strowman when it came
Yep.
to
Right.
Roman Reigns.
I think it'd be a really good look for Drew McIntyre to beat Roman Reigns.
So you assigned 6 and 6, and I'm right there with you guys, but I'm giving Drew McIntyre 7 confidence points. And it's funny because from a storyline perspective, Drew McIntyre's been beating the hell out of Roman Reigns for the past several weeks, so you would expect Roman Reigns to go over. But I think that I still don't think that Roman Reigns is 100%. You know, he's in remission. He's still taking care of things. That's why we haven't seen him in matches and singles matches and different things like that. They felt like they needed him back on television in some capacity for ratings. But I also don't think that they need if he beats Drew McIntyre, that elevates him right back into the title picture, into the main event scene. And I understand they have a lot of goodwill right now built up due to his leukemia. A lot of people don't want to say that, but that's what it is. I don't think that now is the time to be elevating him back into that main event scene. Also, like you said, they were building Braun Strowman up as this monster, and then he encountered that roadblock of Roman Reigns. And then ever since then, they've been kind of humanizing him. As far as Drew McIntyre, they call him the Scottish psychopath. And compared to anybody that they've had as this loose cannon psychopath character over the past probably 20 years, I would say that Drew McIntyre has been playing the role pretty damn well. He much better than the lunatic fringe Dean Ambrose was. Like, what the hell was all of that about? What did he ever do that made him seem like a lunatic? Drew McIntyre has been an anytime, anywhere, like I'm gonna mess you up character on television, and they've been showing that even more right now. So he's kind of stepped back into that role that Braun Strowman was in, and I don't think that now is the time to have him hit the roadblock known as Roman Reigns or as Vince McMahon's boy.
Right. Plus, like Mustafa said, Reigns can afford to lose this match.
Yeah, because he has, like I said, the goodwill built up. Like he loses, you get the sympathy. Like we don't need him coming back and just being Superman all over again. That's how he didn't get over before. Like you guys made him out to be Superman, and then you tried to get him sympathy, and then it just completely backfired. It's like, we just seen this guy do this, and now like you expect us to feel sorry for this guy.
I'm full of analogies tonight. It's just like Drew McIntyre is like a nuclear man. You know, he just scratched Roman Reigns on the neck. You know, so he's kind of dying right now. He need to find the green popsicle and get his powers back.
Need a lollipop. And finally, we have the main event of Raw. Women's champion Ronda Rousey taking on SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, taking on Becky Lynch in the first ever triple threat women's main event of WrestleMania 35. And before we give those predictions, this was the hot angle of the week. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on what we saw from these women on the go-home shows of Raw and SmackDown.
Okay, well, I thought this segment was pretty hot and it was really good, I feel as though they could have done that last week. So I thought the whole Ronda Rousey, Flair, Becky Lynch segment, it was a really, really hot segment. I can't really say anything bad about it, really. I mean, it kind of dragged a little bit, but it seemed very, very real. You know, the ladies, they've been very intense this entire feud. They've definitely been putting in that work. I'm so excited for this match. They really They really have stepped up their game, and they really deserve this main event spot.
I agree. I thought this segment really woke me up, literally, because I was falling asleep for most of Raw. But I just to see it come to that explosion, I don't even think they should have even been on SmackDown the next night. To be honest, they should have just went right to WrestleMania.
Yep.
But I like Becky's promo that she cut. Thought that was pretty good. But I mean, to see them women go at it like that, to me, was what a go home episode of Raw should be. It made me really, even though I was already looking forward to the match already, that made me super excited, and I was just happy to see it.
That should have been probably the closing segment.
It should have definitely been the closing segment of the show. I understand why they didn't have it as the closing segment of the show, because unlike a lot of their segments that they do backstage now that are pre-recorded, that was definitely not pre-recorded. And because they don't have that run over time, they put it in the spot that they put it in, because who knows what they would have missed or how long the segment would have dragged on, and they would have went off the air. It would have been like an old school show, like old school WCW, where they're like, oh, like we'll show you what happens next week or whatever, or tomorrow on SmackDown. That would have been a way to hook people into tuning in to SmackDown to see what really happened after the camera stopped rolling. But
they could also did it as a pre-tape too.
Well,
with nobody knowing the difference.
No, you would.
They didn't go outside or anything, so you really couldn't tell what time of day it was.
No, you would have known the difference, because in a segment like that, think about their backstage segments that are. It started in the ring and it was chaotic. Anything could have happened in the ring. Somebody could have possibly got busted open. Anything could have happened. So, in order to make it look the way that it did, they had to do that one live. That's why, like I said, you could tell it wasn't pre-recorded. The thing for me with this storyline has been, at least over the past 2 to 3 weeks. All right, we all know that Becky is pretty much Teflon, but she has been cooling. They've been taking the spotlight off of Becky Lynch. She has been kind of falling into the background of this storyline, which was essentially built around her and Ronda Rousey. Charlotte was the MVP of this go home segment on Raw. In my opinion, her and Ronda both really delivered in the segment. I feel like Becky felt like a third wheel when it came to the police arrest and everything like that. Like, she wasn't seeming as intense or as into it, or as, like, it was so. Both of you guys saw Us, right? Have you both seen?
No,
Us?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, come on. Well, anyway.
I know I have to go see that too. I haven't got to see it.
Well, anyways, like, Charlotte and Ronda Rousey were acting like complete animals and psychopaths in this segment. Becky Lynch seemed so reserved and held back, and I'm like, where's the fire? Where's that straight fire? Where's that intensity of the man?
See, I disagree. When they was both in the back of the cop car, handcuffed, and they was kicking / scissoring the mess out of each other. I thought that was.
Well, you could in that segment. I saw fear in Becky's eyes. Ronda Rousey looked pissed, and then when she busted out the window and all that different type of stuff and was just coming at Becky, Becky looked like, even when Ronda was throwing those kicks, Becky's kicks looked like, I better not hurt this woman. It looked like when Luna Vachon had to fight Sable, and we've heard the stories of her backstage and them telling her, you better not hurt Sable. That's what it looked like to me. Ronda Rousey was going 110 in that segment, and so was Charlotte, and you could tell. I don't know if that was a receipt from Charlotte when she kneed Ronda Rousey's head into the door of the cop car, because that shot in the ring looked like Ronda Rousey like hit her in the throat. So that could have just been a receipt, or it could have just been Ronda was in the wrong place at the right time, because it looked spectacular on television. But yeah, I really wish I had video editing skills, because I would have definitely rigged up a video with the South Park audio where I'm redneck and I'm in trouble. I felt like at least Ronda and Charlotte had been drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's how they were fighting in this segment. Like, they looked like they was at a Wisconsin bar and it was going down, and Becky Lynch looked like she was the bystander that tried to break it up, but the cops couldn't tell if she was actually involved in the fight or not. So she got arrested too. That's how I felt in this segment. But
You don't stop shitting on my girl. Right?
But it was a hot segment. That leads us into, I'm not even going to address what happened on SmackDown with it. They shouldn't have been on SmackDown, or this segment should have happened on SmackDown. But with that being said,
you know what? That's that Vince McMahon bias, and I still hate it to this day where Raw is always going to be looked at as the A show. Because yeah, they could have did that segment on that show, but nope, had to do it on Raw. Even though it has 2 SmackDown competitors in it, and then they didn't do anything on SmackDown,
right.
which they didn't need to. But I hate that Vince McMahon has that where Raw has to get all the glory and everything. Like that just drives me nuts.
So here,
but I will.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I will say I do want to give credit where credit is due. That was the best Ronda Rousey we've seen since she's been here.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that to like crap on her, but I thought she really like got in the zone on that segment. And like if Ronda Rousey was outside of my house right now with her head sticking out the window, I would legit be scared of her thinking she crazy as shit.
Yeah. She went full psycho during that segment.
Yeah, so with all of that being said, 2 things about this match. When you have a segment like that, when this match takes place, I already feel like weapons are going to be introduced. But one thing in this match I better not see any rest holds. I better not see any wrestling in this match. These women better go for each other's heads and throats. It should be all intensity all the time. And also, even though it's a triple threat match, this match should not go over 18 minutes. Also, Becky Lynch has to go over for all the reasons that I just said, is that she was the main focus. And I feel like now the spotlight has been taken off of her week by week, slowly but surely. And so she's kind of faded back into the background, but that's also
but
where
do you think overall maybe, because like when I look at it as the whole picture, I think they gave them equal amounts of time to shine. I think Becky just had to shine first, coming from Raw when we bent that Royal Rumble in the first couple of weeks. Then I think it kind of shifted to Ronda, and now I think it kind of shifted to Charlotte.
Well,
so when I look at the big picture, I feel like equally they each got a stake in this, where you can believe any one of them could win.
But that's the thing. Like, Charlotte was feeling like the third wheel, so they had to build Charlotte into the feud, and I think they've done an excellent job of building Charlotte into weaving her into the feud now. Even though one thing about this WrestleMania and pretty much the WWE probably over the past like 2 or 3 years has been driving me nuts is that their continuity sucks, because Charlotte's added to this match and it feels like she's a third wheel, but WWE, like, they make all the highlight packages in the world, but they're not showing you what Charlotte did to Ronda Rousey at Evolution. They're not showing you what the interactions that Seth Rollins had with Brock Lesnar back at WrestleMania 33 or 31 or whatever that was when he came out. They're not showing you what happened with Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series or SummerSlam when he had the one-on-one match with Brock Lesnar. They're not going back and showing you these highlight packs. That was the one thing I liked about the Batista segment. Even though he only told Triple H to kiss his ass, they went back into the archives and were showing you old footage of interactions that him and Triple H have had. They didn't make it seem like they hadn't had any interactions and that they didn't have any history. When Charlotte was added to this match, and we all know that wrestling fans have suffer from short-term memory loss. I think a lot of the fans have CTE, that they only recall probably the 3 weeks that happened prior. That's all that they can think back to. And that's kind of programming from WWE, where back in the day, you had a pay-per-view every 3 weeks, every 3 to 4 weeks. And the storylines reflected that. But now we've had so many wrestlers, like, think about back in the day, like most wrestlers were only around for maybe like 3 years, 4 years on television. Now we're at this point where we have these same people on television and it's been 5, 6, 7 years. And so they have a lot of history that they can go back into the archives and show. But I'm saying all that to say that Charlotte was feeling like a third wheel. They weren't really articulating that, well, she has a bone to pick with Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey has a bone to pick with her. So her being added to this match makes a lot of sense. We all know what Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey's interaction was, which was minimum compared to what Charlotte and Ronda Rousey had. She put her in an arm bar and then got her face broken. So they couldn't have their match. Whereas Charlotte Flair beat the hell out of Ronda Rousey. So with that being said, yeah, Becky had all of the shine, but it was mainly based on the what if. Like she had her face broke, she came back, and they're like, yeah, you missed your match. Charlotte took your spot. Charlotte kind of took the shine because she let that animal come out of her. What Vince McMahon wanted to see come out of AJ Styles, we got from Charlotte at that pay-per-view against Ronda Rousey. So then Becky's on top. She wins the women's title. Okay, she has, I mean, not the women's title or whatever, but she goes on. She loses to Asuka. That was really when some of the steam started coming off of her. Then she wins the Rumble, and you're like, okay, she won the Rumble. She's getting a little bit of her momentum back or whatever. Then you have everything else that happened in between there, where they're trying to shoehorn, like I said, make it. It felt like they were shoehorning Charlotte in when it actually made sense for Charlotte to be involved in the match in the first place. We just all were hoping that Asuka. Well, we all wanted to just see Asuka have a good opponent for WrestleMania, and now she's in the Battle Royals. I kind of feel like I'm rambling, but
don't let them off that easy. They forced it. They forced it, but they made it work at the end.
They like I said, it felt like, all right, Chris Black. If they took you back and shown you what happened between Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair, if that was re-shown to you to kind of justify why Ronda Rousey wants Charlotte Flair in the match, would it have felt as shoehorned as it just seemed that we're bringing out Charlotte and she's the queen and she's getting put into this match? They didn't remind people of the damage that she did to Ronda Rousey.
Right. Ronda Rousey should have requested, I want Charlotte in this match. I've got a bone to pick with both of these broads.
Yeah, because they pretty much they omitted the beatdown that Charlotte delivered. They omitted when Ronda Rousey came out in the ladder match and pushed him down to pretty much hand Asuka the title. All these things in the storyline leading into WrestleMania were ignored. Like, all three of these women have been interacting over the past 6 or 7 months. But you look at the storyline has only been told over the past 2.5. So that's what I'm saying. WWE's been doing a piss poor job. The announcers have been doing a piss poor job of bringing up the history between all of these women and all those different things. But with that being said, like I said, Becky Lynch needs to win. I am assigning 11 confidence points to Becky Lynch winning. The man dies if she does not win at Mania.
Chris Black.
Okay, so I feel like I'm going to have to state my argument. So this whole time, I feel like this has been set up for Charlotte to take the victory. Let me explain. So first of all, you know that Charlotte is like the female Roman Reigns. She is the queen. She's the queen. Number one, putting Charlotte in the match, it didn't have to. I mean, they were trying to fit a square peg into a round hole at first. They didn't have to put her in there. But again, this is Charlotte. And I think that the confidence between Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey having a match at WrestleMania was questionable. So they wanted to add Charlotte to the mix. Reason number two, Charlotte beat Asuka for the title out of nowhere. Nobody saw that coming at all. And then number three, not only did she beat Asuka for the title, now suddenly it's winner take all. So I kind of feel like Charlotte, because she's she's the queen.
And you're forgetting one
Why
thing.
wouldn't they have her be the first unified women's title holder?
And you're forgetting one more thing. Asuka also beat Becky Lynch clean and made her tap out.
Yep. Exactly. So it kind of seems as though Charlotte was just kind of tailor made for this spot for the victory. And I think that Becky Lynch, since they're riding the whole McMahon Becky Lynch storyline, I think they're going to drag that out a little bit with Charlotte being the winner and Becky Lynch chasing her. So I'm putting 5 confidence points because although I'm almost conspiracy theorist certain that Charlotte Flair is winning this match, there's still a part of me that says, you know what, but from a booking standpoint, there's no reason why Becky Lynch should not go over in this match. But this is WWE. I think they're going to go with their girl Charlotte.
So you said 5?
Yep, 5.
All right. So I'm going to put my 2 cents in this now.
I don't know about 2 cents. You probably got about $2,000.
All right. See, well, first of all, people want to bring up the whole tapping thing with Asuka. Okay. Now, they had to do that to keep Asuka strong. However, they have done a disservice by what they've done with her lately. So I think they should have really just let Becky Lynch go over and then still put her in the Rumble, but everything was there to tell the story. Right. As far as the whole like Charlotte thing going, yeah, she was shoehorned in this whole thing. Yeah, she beat her down at SummerSlam or whatever with the kendo stick or whatever, but they didn't go back to it. So everybody forgot about it. So nobody cares. It should have been a singles match. It's a 3-way that they've got to work over the last couple of weeks. So I'm still excited for the match. I think it's going to be a great match. I think Asuka just got screwed out of this whole situation because I think if they would have went with what I think was the original plan and have Becky and Ronda and then have Asuka and Charlotte, I think we would have got 2 great women's matches. Now, as far as Charlotte beating Asuka and Asuka beating Ronda, I just want to say that Asuka got to prepare for Becky Lynch at Royal Rumble, where she didn't really get to prepare for Charlotte because the way they made it seem like when she got to the ring, that's when she figured out it was a title match. So I just want to put that out there.
Hold up, but nobody's ready for Asuka, but Asuka's ready for everyone. And she knew about the match, but the match was already announced. It's not like she didn't know she was gonna have a match with Charlotte. The only difference was that it was for the title. But if you're a champion, you put your best foot forward no matter what. Even if you're not the champion, you put your best foot forward to win every match. So I'm not buying it.
Nah, hold on. Tell me every day you go into work when you know you got an easy day, you don't go in there like I'm gonna have an easy day today.
But she knew she was going to have a hard Charlotte day. Beat her at WrestleMania last year. You think Asuka thought she was going to have an easy day?
Asuka's human.
No,
she was like, hey.
She's not human.
She was like, hey, it's not a title defense. If I lose, I lose. But I get to whoop her, you know.
How dare you insult Asuka by calling her human?
But as a fan, I've been rooting for Becky Lynch for the past couple of months. So y'all know I'm going to pick her to win. Y'all know I'm putting all 15 of my confidence points. I'm putting all 15 confidence points behind Becky Lynch. She's going to come out on top on this one.
By my count, you only got 10 confidence points left.
It don't matter. His asshole going to be burning Sunday night.
Now I am off one. It's 17 matches, right?
I'm gonna play Usher.
Or 16.
I'm playing Usher.
It's 16 minus the 2 Battle Royal matches.
Yeah,
so
you
14.
got 10 confidence points, and I'm playing Usher the whole time you're eating those chocolates.
Okay. All right. So wait a minute. I gotta make some adjustments then. All right. So Kurt Angle and Darren Corbin. I got Corbin for 9.
Mm-hmm.
10. I don't have assigned. So put Samoa Joe for 10 instead of 11. Put Bobby Lashley for 11 instead of 12. Put AJ Styles for 12 instead of 13. And then put Kofi Kingston as 13 instead of 14. And then Becky Lynch 14 instead of 15. There we go. That's why I messed up at.
The whole 14, huh?
Yep, putting it all behind. See, what would I look like not putting all my money on the man?
I think
That'd be like if
Because the
Alexa
queen
Bliss.
is going to reign supreme.
See, and here's another thing that I look at it too. Like, out of all these people, Ronda's winning right now. Charlotte's winning right now. Becky Lynch needs to win. Charlotte doesn't need it. Ronda has it. She don't need it.
But
If
why?
anything,
Did you have to
if
think if Charlotte was not going over, why would they have her beat Asuka to bring the belt into the mix to be unified?
so they
because
could just say Charlotte Flair was in the match
it was one
because she's
less
Ric Flair's daughter.
because they're
And I'm
unifying
not
the
saying that
belts. Because they're unifying the belts, and there's one less match on this long ass WrestleMania card. Like
and I,
like
and
I
I do
plan on
want to
doing.
say
Oh, but the thing is, okay, if Becky Lynch goes over, who does she feud with?
she feud either one of them.
I think Flair as a heel,
She fused with Charlotte. I don't even think
yeah,
that
with the
Ronda's
title.
losing. I don't even think that Ronda's gonna be the one taking the pinfall.
I don't think anybody's got Ronda Rousey winning this match. Shit.
Yeah. So, and like I said, we're gonna do a quick review of WrestleMania following WrestleMania. That'll be uploaded either the Sunday night or later on Monday night, and then we got a full show later on in the week. I got to be up at 6 a.m. So this show, I hope this show ends by 10.
Shit.
I mean, I mean, not even be up at 6 a.m. I got to be at work at 6 a.m. So I got to be up by 4. So,
I know, man. I heard they're just gonna have buses from MetLife Stadium taking people right to Raw.
that's hilarious. But yeah, so those are your WrestleMania predictions. Now I'm going to turn the floor over to, unless Chris Black has any input in this, I'm going to turn the floor over to Xavier Mustafa to give his thoughts on NXT TakeOver and his predictions for that, which do not count for our Burner Bliss Challenge.
All right, so we got some great matches for NXT Takeover. It's gonna be live at the Barclays Center tonight when this airs, I would assume. So we got the NXT Tag Team Championships. We got the War Raiders defending against Ricochet and Aleister Black. I got the War Machines going over in this one just because, one, they just won those tag titles. I don't see them dropping it to Ricochet and Aleister. But what do you guys think?
I think that the War Raiders are definitely going to go over. I think that Aleister Black and Ricochet does not need to be bogged down in a tag team. Period.
Let's see. I'm not gonna give any NXT predictions because I haven't been keeping up with the product at all. So I'm gonna leave the floor to you guys right now, just to take care of that. But I already did make a statement on this, and I feel like if WWE wants to try something different and try to create new stars, Ricochet and Aleister Black should win those tag belts.
All right, then we got the NXT Women's Championship. We got Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane, Io Shirai. I think I got her name right for the first time, and Bianca
There's
Belair.
You know what? I'm picking Io Shirai. I'm jumping in.
You know what? When I originally saw this match, I actually was like, okay, maybe they're gonna do it with Bianca Belair. But actually, just watching the last, couple of months after, watching NXT since Survivor Royal Rumble, wrong pay-per-view. I feel like Bianca Belair is kind of falling backwards a little bit. So yeah, I'm going with Io Shirai.
I'm also going to go with Io Shirai because it's a four-way. Shayna Baszler does not have to be pinned because she's a beast and she wouldn't get pinned. Plus, I kind of think that they're probably going to move her up to the main roster soon. I don't know about right after WrestleMania, but they're probably going to transition her. Kairi Sane, she's all right. And Bianca Belair, I'm still not sold on her. Unfortunately, I hear she's an internet darling, but I'm not impressed.
So she's good at what she does, and I think her match that she had at NXT TakeOver Phoenix, I thought was great, even though people were like crapping on her that she was in that spot. But I thought she did exactly what she needed to do. I thought she was believable, and I thought like she really got you behind her with her selling and the way she told the story in the ring. But yeah, I feel like they kind of made her take the back seat on this one. So yeah, I'm not buying her winning. Then we have, which is going to be one of my favorite matches that I'm really, really looking forward to. Actually, the next three matches are the ones that I'm really, really looking forward to. The first one is the man, the myth, the legend, the Velveteen Dream taking on my guy Matt Riddle.
See, how you gonna call this match?
I gotta give it to the Dream. I don't think they'll put that belt on him just to take it off this soon. I mean, if Matt Riddle wins, I'll still be happy because I do like Matt Riddle, but I think I can see them doing a program for a little bit, and for them to have that happen, I think the Velveteen Dream needs to go over.
Is Riddle undefeated?
Yes.
See, that right there, Dream's lost before, and we've seen stranger things than people dropping a title that they've just won. So I'm gonna have to go with Matt Riddle.
Dream's track record for takeover shows is trash. Like he's one of those guys. He's basically the Sasha Banks of NXT right now. Like he can win when it doesn't really matter, but when it comes down to the big one, he can't get it done. So I'm picking Matt Riddle.
But you know what though, because the Velveteen Dream is always putting people over, and and he does a great job at doing it.
Period.
But I don't. But I will say this: if Velveteen Dream does drop that title, he better be on the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean he's over whether he wins or loses, so he can afford to lose, and it's not going to be a big deal because his character is larger than life anyway.
Yeah, and also I don't see anything in Dream's arsenal that he can use as an exploit on Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle just goes in there and just annihilates his opponents pretty much. Like the only thing the Velveteen Dream could do that would be kind of hilarious is like have some type of foot fetish in the middle of the match and start tickling Matt Riddle or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Dream always surprises me with how tough his character is.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying he's not tough. I'm just saying what in his arsenal could he use to expose Matt Riddle from the display that we've seen of Matt Riddle. Like I said, I don't watch a lot of NXT, but what I've seen is just Matt Riddle basically going in there as an MMA fighter that's barefoot and kicking ass. Continue.
Well, next up, now this is the order that I think this should be in. The semi-main event should be the NXT Championship. 2 out of 3 falls. Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole, baby. I got Johnny Gargano going over for this one.
It's Gargano's time.
Oh man, I don't know about that.
There's nothing for Adam Cole to do on the main roster, but I feel like Johnny Gargano needs something to do until Tommaso Ciampa comes back. So I think that this is what he does is feud with Adam Cole.
Yeah, for 18 months? And that's if Ciampa comes back.
Not for 18 months, but for at least the next 3. Until they can build someone up on the NXT roster besides the Velveteen Dream. And that's the only way that Velveteen Dream goes over is if they're going to have him competing. I mean, that's the only way. That's the only way the Velveteen Dream wins is if he's going to somehow be going for multiple championships. He's going to keep the North American title and somehow end up competing for the NXT championship. So that's the only way I see the Velveteen Dream going over. So it all kind of depends on this match.
Yeah, for some odd reason, I see Adam Cole going over. But yes, this is Gargano's. This is supposed to be his year. I'm pretty sure he probably want to win over Ciampa. So it's weird saying I reluctantly am going with Johnny Gargano, but I am because I kind of feel like Adam Cole probably needs to win more. But I don't watch NXT the show enough, so I'm gonna go with Gargano because it's just his time.
All right, and then what I want to be the main event, it probably won't be the main event, but what I want to be the main event is the WWE UK Championship title match between the champion Pete Dunne and Walter.
You
And
just want to see Pete Dunne get raped by Walter.
But you know what? It's not even going to be a one-way rape, though. It's going to be a two-way rape. They are going to beat the
phrase
crap
one-way rape.
Right, two-way rape. They are going to beat the crap out of each other. Like, I'm just as excited as this match as the WrestleMania where we had Finlay versus Bradshaw. Like, that's what I'm here for this match for. I'm here for it. I'm here for the brutality.
You think Pete Dunne's gonna put hands on Walter like that?
Yes. They are both going to.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of the Bruiserweight, but I think he's got nothing on Walter. I'm expecting a squash.
This is going to be strong style at
epic
its best.
Proportions.
And it's finally time for Pete Dunne to drop that belt. He's had it for like a million days now. I think it's time to put Walter over. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe move Pete Dunne up.
Walter gonna get in
I agree that Walter is taking this and that it should be a squash. It should even be close.
See, I don't think that's squash because Pete Dunne had that belt for so long.
And what I mean,
the thing is, we know how tough.
And I don't mean a squash where Pete Dunne doesn't get in anything, because WWE's done that recently where he might get like 2 or 3 things off, but it's not going to be what you expect it to be. I think that Walter takes it in dominant fashion, and we get a rematch. But right here is Walter's time to show why he had so much hype on him.
Yeah, that man's just. I don't think I've seen anyone get the upper hand on Walter. Like, the guy is just booked amazingly.
Man, I just wish Walter was in the WWE like 10 years ago, because I would love to see like him, Bradshaw, Finlay, Regal, like all them guys mixing it up and doing their thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You need some new underwear over there?
I was just going to say, I think I got to get off the mic for a minute.
That's not the pop Walter was looking for.
But that's it. That's the end of the NXT TakeOver card going down tonight. This should be uploaded tomorrow, Friday. So it's going on tonight.
What's on your scale of 1 to 10? How lit is this NXT show gonna be?
Man, this thing is on fire.
Man,
like this is a 5-alarm fire right here. This is a great card. I think the weakest match on the card is the women's match, and even that's gonna be great.
So what do you think is more lit or on fire? This NXT card or your butt after WrestleMania?
Probably my butt after WrestleMania.
Vacate.
But no, like you said, if you don't win, you lose. So
right.
If you ain't first, then you're last.
Because there's only 3 of us.
Yeah, but hey, imagine if you lose and you pick all 3 just regular chocolates, then you get chocolate.
Right.
So so that's NXT, and we did the WrestleMania. So now we'll just touch on a quick little news topic, a couple little news topics, a couple quick hits. We'll knock these out in about 5 to 7 minutes. So it was announced that JR had his contract was up in WWE, and now he is signed with AEW. Thoughts on JR going to AEW?
Didn't see that coming. Not.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. I thought that was a given, even though they try to play around it like, oh, no, I'm not talking to AEW. It's like, why are you lying, Jim Rose?
You know what? The funny thing about it is, like, I think he's going to be a great asset to them. I just never still understood why WWE took him off commentary. Like, there was no reason to keep JR off commentary.
I don't know. Who knows? You never know in this business. He maybe he pissed somebody off. Maybe he's an asshole backstage. I don't know. Maybe he just had an off month, week, whatever.
I mean, I understand you want to change things around and liven things up every now and then, but I think he still had a role. He could have been a lead commentator on maybe SmackDown, and you keep Michael Cole on Raw, and then you mixed him in with likes of Corey Graves and Renee Young and the coach and all those guys.
Then next up, since our last show, we've had the Hart Foundation of we've had the Hart Foundation and Brutus the Barber Beefcake both announced for the WWE Hall of Fame. Thoughts on these two inductions? And it's not the full Hart Foundation. It's not the full Hart Foundation. It's just the tag team.
Yeah.
Wait, so who is it?
Jim the
just
Anvil
Bret Hart
and
and Jim Neidhart.
So that makes Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart both on the same Hall of Fame ticket, two-time Hall of Famers, as well as Booker T being a two-time Hall of Famer. So
I don't know. I guess I just haven't been paying attention. I thought it was the whole Hart Foundation, so I was actually excited for Owen Hart to finally be getting something. But if it's just them two, no, fuck that.
Is it just me, or this year's is very lackluster? Like I don't mean to shit on Brutus the Barber Beefcake, but come on now. It's
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
The Barber, man.
And the Honky Tonk Man, ain't he in it?
Yeah.
Or no, it was the last
Nope,
year?
he's not in it.
Oh, he was last year.
But it's just like this year seems to be like everybody gets into the Hall of Fame. I thought like being a two-time Hall of Famer is kind of a big deal. Like Flair was the first. Now Bret Hart is my favorite wrestler of all time, and I don't mind him getting another ring. I don't think that the Hart Foundation as a tag team, however, was that great. DX getting into the Hall of Fame is just their slick way of getting China in there and shutting some people up, and for some of them to get double rings. Doesn't Shawn Michaels have triple rings now? Probably.
No, he's a two-time Hall of Famer. So,
okay.
Like I just said,
not the Rockers. He just hasn't got one for the Rockers. Then.
Yeah, like I said, Shawn Michaels, Booker T, and Bret Hart all become two-time Hall of Famers with this induction this year.
I don't know. It just seems like.
And you forgot, yes, the Honky Tonk Man is going into the Hall of Fame this year. So you be expecting a segment with him and Elias.
Of course,
that would be nice.
You know what? I love Harlem Heat going in there. I like that DX is going in there only because of the China aspect. I think it's funny that the WWE has banned Chris Jericho from everything, but Billy Gunn is in there. They cool with him though. You cool, bro.
I think he just kind of floated under the radar, though. I think maybe they just don't realize that he's with AEW.
Oh,
Triple H just ain't saying nothing.
Nah, Jericho just broke his heart. That's all that is. They never really gave a damn about Billy Gunn. They tried to push him and his brother, but
see, that's just a petty move on Jericho. They're just like, no, your people can't go. I mean, I understand from a business perspective, but then I don't, because it's really you just looking really petty right now.
You're putting more of a spotlight on AEW by doing stuff like that. Because
I'm not addressing AEW
is not competition
they're
for you guys.
Calling
right
attention
now.
to it.
They're not competition right now.
But I feel like this, if you're gonna sneak China in the back door, no pun intended, into the Hall of Fame, why won't you do that with Owen and the Hart Foundation?
Well, that's his wife.
Don't want it. His wife is banning that.
Yeah. That's not WWE. WWE wants to put him in the Hall of Fame. That's why Mark Henry, Bret Hart, all those guys, every year they come out and they plead with Martha to let them put Owen Hart into the Hall of Fame. So
you need to let that man get his due. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't want your husband to get
she doesn't want
respect
WWE to profit from it at all.
And I think that WWE has volunteered not to, like give her the money, like, or whatever, anything that they profit off of. She's in charge of his estate. I'm sure he still gets royalties for certain things, and so
she denying those checks.
And they had the wrongful death lawsuit, and everybody else in the family has forgiven the WWE pretty much. So I don't know what her whole grudge and gripe is. Like, if his own brother, who was screwed over by the WWE himself, can forgive and forget, like, everything that he went through with that company, I don't know why Martha would hold such disdain.
Well, I don't know. I kind of give her some slack, because at the end of the day, her husband died.
But it was Bret
You
Hart's
know.
brother, and he's going in
Yeah,
twice.
but I'm saying, but
He's going in twice. He came back and fought Vince McMahon. He came back and did wrestling. Even when he wasn't supposed to be wrestling, he came back into that company. Despite everything, Bret Hart can talk all the stuff that he wants to about WWE, and we'll get to it in a second. Even though it was old statements from Bret Hart, he came back.
yeah, but he's a worker in the business, and wrestling just doesn't get out of your blood. Owen Hart's wife, however, is not in the business, so she's gonna just be like, "Fuck the business, fuck you guys," because like to us, it's just like we want that for Owen because we love the business.
And we love Owen.
Martha's like, "Fuck the business."
Yeah.
But she cashing them checks.
You still on that?
And she's spending that money that's in the account that her husband left. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate when people they say stuff like that. They be like, "Man, forget this company and all they about." But then you still
She shows up to the Hall of Fame. She was at the Hall of Fame last year. And she's gonna be in the. I guarantee Martha's gonna be in the crowd at this year's Hall of Fame for Bret Hart's induction.
So if you don't fuck with
that company, you don't fuck with that company the long way.
Exactly. You in or you out. Get that money back. Sell that house you living in.
All right. So another noteworthy thing, we got Gail Kim coming out of retirement to face Tessa Blanchard. Thoughts?
Gail Kim is awesome. The only reason why she retired is because don't nobody use her properly.
I like
Gail Kim did all the fame.
I like what she texted out or sent out on Twitter. She was like, WWE doesn't know what to do with Asians.
She's somebody who needs to be in the Hall of Fame, we'll be honest.
She won't be, though. Not the WWE Hall of Fame. What were her accolades there? They didn't do anything with her at all.
I think she won her first title by accident. In that battle royal, that was an accident.
Right.
I mean, Troy Wilson in there.
Let's see. Sable still isn't in there. Sable's probably gonna go in next year. This year's Hall of Fame, like we said, is pretty trash. Taz could have went into the Hall of Fame. Like, they're in New York. Taz could have went in. And they're not even in New York. They're in Jersey. So Bam Bam Bigelow could have went in. Diamond Dallas
Who's
Page
the headliner
in there? There is no.
DX.
They're not doing headliners, but you would say DX.
Okay.
But yeah, there's no reason Bam Bam Bigelow shouldn't have went in this year. Taz could have went in this year. Like, normally they would try and get people from that region or area when they're in those places. I think one of the funniest things is it's supposed to snow on Mania or rain. So it's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah, I think the day of Mania is the only day that is not supposed to do that. But every day besides that one, it's supposed to either snow or rain. But they don't want to come to Minnesota apparently because they don't feel the weather's gonna work out. But y'all go to New York, New Jersey. I don't understand. I'm confused. I think WWE needs to realize that WrestleMania can happen not on the East Coast and not on the West Coast. There's all these states in the middle.
You know? I don't know. Minnesota cold is a different kind of cold.
Let's see. They have a covered dome. So
True that.
What's the issue? What's the problem?
Yeah, hopefully we get a Survivor Series or what was it they had in the it was the Rumble they did in the baseball stadium. So we'll never get that in Miller Park or whatever it's called now. It's not Miller Park anymore. So
it's the American Family something probably now.
Yeah. Are you serious? That doesn't even roll off the tongue.
Now, here's the thing with that, and locals that listen to this will understand. They are going to do so many changes to the city to get ready for the Democratic National Convention.
Yeah.
Which will be a good thing because if they can host that, I think that will be a good way for them to be able to host some type of big event like the Royal Rumble or something like that. Because I hear that a lot of reasons why they don't come here for big events is because we don't have the infrastructure for hotels, restaurants, and stuff like that.
Ain't nobody trying to come to Milwaukee. That's why.
Well, no, we have the infrastructure for it. It was just the appeal of the city, but now we got the number one basketball team in the NBA. We're ranked number one. We got
Best stadium
yeah,
or best arena.
yeah, we got the new stadium, which I just had an argument with somebody about that. And if I know this is a wrestling podcast, but we were talking about if Giannis should win the MVP and the reasons for the NBA to give him the MVP because he's earned it, or if they're gonna give it back to old boy out of Houston, if they're gonna give it back to him. Because they don't normally like to pick the same person 2 years in a row, but we're like Giannis is the best player in the NBA right now. The Bucks have the best record in the NBA right now, so you give it to the best player on the best team in the league. And a lot of the argument was that they wouldn't give it to Giannis because he's in such a small market of Milwaukee. But I'm like, we built this new arena to appease the NBA, so the least they can do is give our player the MVP that he's earned. With all the money and tax dollars that were invested into the Fiserv Forum, despite what you may hear on the news, your tax dollars did go to build that arena. But that's neither here nor there. So, yeah, we have the infrastructure. There's so many hotels here, and I worked in the hotel industry that go unfilled. So, but like you said, the DNC convention, if that goes off without a hitch, yes, it does put Milwaukee on a whole another level. And just one more thing about what you were saying about the infrastructure. We host the world's largest music festival every single summer, so nobody can argue about we don't have the infrastructure for things here.
True that.
That's true, but most of the stuff is on that land. So, I'm thinking of stuff like restaurants and stuff like that where we do have a lot downtown.
The world's largest music festival here every year. It's 11 days of people coming from around the world.
I agree, and 90% of what they come for is at the park.
No, but I guess they got to stay
you said
somewhere.
They've
got to eat
hotels
breakfast
and
and
stuff
shit
like
someplace.
that. Yeah. And also stuff like Airbnb, those things have changed the game as well. So to argue that we don't have the infrastructure for, like, to host an event that takes place one night out of the week or over the course of 3 days, if it's like a Rumble or Mania or something like that, we host an 11-day festival that has 1 million visitors in those 11 days. I think that we can. I think we can handle 40,000 people.
If you're gonna get shot or stabbed, if you're worried about that, that's a different issue. But...
Well, they go to Chicago every year. They go to Chicago every year. They're in Jersey this year.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna sound like a hater because I do hate the state of Illinois, but that's not even Chicago. They keep trying to say they always want to say Chicago. They like 40 minutes from Chicago.
Well, no, they returned to Allstate this year, so they were in Chicago this year. They went back there twice last year. I mean.
The Allstate Arena is in Rosemont, Illinois.
Not the Allstate, whatever the hell, American Airlines Arena. They went back there twice last year, and that's Chicago.
They just being honest. Milwaukee just ain't a tourist attraction. That's all. That's not a tourist destination. That's all. They have to change the image.
Yeah, we're becoming that now with the Five-Star Forum, Miller Park, the renovating the Meyer Festival Park. But I said we weren't going to spend that much time. So let's just get to this quick little news tidbit. We've discussed this on the show before about wrestlers being independent contractors and insuring wrestlers. For those who don't know, John Oliver on his show last week tonight, he ran a segment touching on the WWE, and basically he was saying how the WWE doesn't provide enough health benefits for their employees or for their superstars and classify them as independent contractors. And how could you be an independent contractor when you're signed exclusively to a company? So I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this. Like I said, we've touched on this before. We'll probably touch on it a little bit more on our main show. But you guys got any thoughts on what he was saying?
I agree. I think it is crap. And the fact that, like you said, you're an independent contractor, however, you can't really do what you want. You're not independent because you're stuck with working for the WWE, and all they have to do really is say that they're going to pay you for the job that you're going to do, but you're not going to get any of the benefits for it.
The arrangement only benefits WWE. It doesn't really, benefit the quote unquote independent contractor, because from a business standpoint, I guess by saying that your wrestlers who you have 500 on the goddamn payroll probably by now, you would have to pay taxes on those employees, have to offer them health insurance on those employees, and all that kind of stuff can be very, very costly to a wrestling company. where people literally bang their bodies around, 5 days a week. So it makes sense for them to classify their workers as independent contractors, but it probably saves them just a shit ton of money. Now, will they help out for major medical kind of bills? Sure, but that's kind of like on like the honor system. It's shitty, but everyone who gets into this business, they know what they're getting into. They know what they're not going to be offered. So, playing devil's advocate, for us who's in the business, we know what the risks are, and we accept those risks. And we accept that this is not the business where you're going to be getting like full-term health benefits doing. So that's my take on it.
I just got to think about these people's families. Like, okay, yeah, you get hurt, that's cool, but what if your son gets hurt? Little Jimmy gets hurt at baseball practice or something like that. Like, you got to come all of this money out of your pocket, or your wife at home has to get a job just so she can carry benefits for all of you guys. She can't carry you because you're a wrestler, and it's I don't know.
From a business perspective, the company they don't care about that. Wrestlers, especially wrestlers, they come a dime a dozen. You get one wrestler, it's worse than Hydra. One wrestler gets hurt. There's 2, 3, 4 others to take their place.
Okay. Well, one argument that I've heard, and I listened to the Don Tony and Kevin Castle podcast. Did you guys actually watch the segment?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Two things. One is like Don Tony, like I said, he's a podcast host. He sells insurance. That's what he does, and that's his day job is insurance. And one of the things that he argues is that, first of all, you look at a WWE contract. Let me get my opinions first. I feel that you should not be able to be classified as an independent contractor under a WWE contract because, like we said, you're exclusive to them. You only work for them. You're not allowed to really make money anywhere else. If anybody in WWE right now could be classified as independent contractor, it would probably be Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey, because Ronda Rousey is allowed to sell her own merchandise and make money off of her name and the things that she does in WWE, but she's not allowed to. I'm pretty sure her contract doesn't allow her to go wrestle anywhere else. Brock Lesnar, I would argue, because he can go to UFC, he doesn't really have merch like that, but I'm sure that he's making money off his Jimmy Johns and everything outside of WWE, and WWE's not getting any of that money. Everybody else, all their merch goes through WWE.com, and WWE is taking a cut, and they're only allowed to compete there in WWE. So I don't feel that they should be able to be classified as independent contractors, and as such, they should be classified as employees. Okay. We also stated that the only person who really benefits from this is WWE. True. When it comes to being in WWE, though, one thing is that you're not making $25,000 a year. You're like probably the low end people may be making about 50, 70,000, something like that. And yeah, to go out and purchase your own insurance, especially in a high risk occupation such as wrestling, I'm sure that can be very expensive. But those who are making $100,000 and up, one of the things Don Tony argues is that WWE is not paying these people a minimum wage or poverty wages, and they're giving them extra money so they can go out and purchase their own insurance. And also the WWE covers them for anything that happens in the ring. We've all been wrestling fans long enough to know some of the things that can go on in this industry, everything from substance abuse, to just things outside of the ring that could affect people's lives. And they do have their wellness program and their rehab program. They're trying to help certain people come back from certain things. But I don't think that in this type of environment, to provide these people 24-hour health care coverage, it wouldn't serve to benefit. It sounds messed up. It wouldn't serve to benefit the WWE to do such a thing. But nope. it wouldn't serve to benefit anyone, because they're making you take personal responsibility for your own health and wellness outside of their ring. Inside the ring, they're taking care of you. Outside of that ring, you need to be making sure that you're staying healthy, making sure that you're not abusing. painkillers, not abusing steroids, and not abusing alcohol and other drugs and different things like that, because you're not going to be covered. And I'm 100% sure that WWE requires their performers to carry health insurance, that they have to show that they have to be current and different things like that. So they're not just letting people be in their ring and they're, or outside the ring, and they're not covered, that they're not going to be taken care of. And a lot of these older wrestlers now are coming out and they're suing and they're saying, I got all these aches and pains and different things like that. And it's like, your brain lives in your head. Did you think agreeing to take 15 chair shots on a weekend was a great idea? Like, you don't think that there's going to be repercussions for those different types of things down the line? Coming, basically having your body go through a car crash every single night in a ring for 200 days out of the year isn't going to catch up to you eventually. It's like, you expect for WWE to support you for the rest of your life. Like, I don't know, that stuff is crazy. But like I said, the main thing that he was getting at is that they shouldn't be classified as like independent contractors when they can't compete anywhere else. The one thing I was saying, I watch a lot of John Oliver's show. I pretty much watch it every single week, whatever topic it is that he's discussing. This segment felt off though. Like, why would this, most of the topics that he covers on his show affects a great majority of people, or like is for the benefit of the culture or the world or whatever like that. This was very specific to me. Like, as I watched it, I felt like this was more of a hit piece compared to a lot of other things that he's covered, because it wasn't about like some dictator like doing like purging a region of like a culture or race of people, or the water crisis in Flint that's affecting children. This story was something that involves grown men who can make grown decisions and a private business. And so I'm watching, I'm like, why is he covering this? Like, this really doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, maybe it's because WrestleMania is right around the corner or something. But Don Tony, at first when he first said it, I disagreed, because I'm like, I'm pretty sure that he that this story wasn't just developed over the course of a week or 2 weeks. Like, they've been working on this for a while. But again, you go back and you look at, he didn't mention any of the other wrestling organizations out there. I understand that WWE is the biggest, but he didn't say like that anybody out there had a better system than what WWE has right now. Like, he didn't mention like the Impacts or the upstart of AEW, who says that they want to get to where they can give insurance to all of their wrestlers or anything like that. It was very specific about WWE. And so what Don Tony came up with is that it was politically inspired, because Linda McMahon, who was in charge of the Small Business Association in Trump's White House or whatever, that she stepped down from her position, and now she's taking a role in Donald Trump's 2020 campaign. And anybody who watches that show knows how much, or late night television or the news in general, how much people were against like Donald Trump and like his regime and his White House. And like I said, at first I was arguing against it, like, I don't know why he's doing the story. It doesn't really make sense. It felt like a hit piece. But when he said that, and I really sat back and reflected, I was like, that kind of makes sense. If you're against Donald Trump, and now you have this prominent figure who has this business, multi-billion-dollar business, you're going to run a story like defaming them, and WWE stock dropped like 3 points or 5 points like the following day after this story ran. I just found it kind of interesting, an interesting perspective on it, because like I said, we've discussed this on the show before, that the WWE shouldn't have to cover their performers 24/7, 365. Like that, like they're taking care of them when they're on their clock, which is better than even an independent contractor, because as an independent contractor, you're completely responsible for your insurance when you're on the job. Like if I hire a carpenter to come into my house to start to like tear down a wall or something like that, and my wall falls on them and crushes them and they break an arm, their insurance has to cover that. I don't have to cover their insurance. So WWE saying, oh, you guys are independent contractors, but when you're in our ring, we're going to cover you is better than just being an independent contractor. So when you think about it like that, like I said, the story didn't really make that much sense. Don Tony came up with that theory on why he did this story. And like I said, it was weird because it came out of nowhere. It covered such a specific segment of the population. It covered grown-ass people who can make grown-ass decisions. And yeah, like that's kind of how I felt about the segment. So any of that make any sense to you guys?
All right, so I'm gonna counter you on a lot of that. What people fail to realize is there are people in WWE that make different amount of money, okay, based off their popularity, how much they make, how much they make the company, things like that. So you got your people like your Mustafa Ali's, you got your people like your, I'm gonna say Xavier Woods. I don't think he makes a lot of money. You got those guys who make somewhere between, let's say, okay, $50,000 and maybe 200,000. Well, what you have to realize is these people, they have to pay most of their own expenses. So they got to pay their own car rentals, they got to pay their own hotels, they got to pay their own food. Eating on the road all the time is not cheap. It's expensive,
especially if you play for some good food.
Right. Like I've seen this thing where Rusev and what's the pale dude in the bar? They went into Sheamus. Yeah, they went into like a Qdoba or something. And these guys got to get like 6-7 bowls to get all their protein and all that stuff and have something to eat then and eat later. And like that, you're spending 50, 60, 70 bucks a whop every time we go somewhere. So they have to pay for that, and their travel and stuff like that. So, all right, so that person is making $100,000. They've already spending, let's say, $50,000 on the road. So they only got $50,000 left. They got a wife at home. They got kids. They got those expenses. There's that $50. You're basically working for free. Now you get those people like Randy Orton and stuff like that. Those people, they make a whole lot of money. They get, some of them get kickbacks off their, their travel because of what they arranged in their agreement or in their contract. You got some of them that like CM Punk. CM Punk said it got to the point where he couldn't travel in a car no more because it was starting to affect his body so bad that he had to spend money to get a bus. Well, can a Mustafa Ali afford a bus? No. But a guy like CM Punk making CM Punk money can. So then he can get a bus and hire somebody to drive that bus, and then he can actually lay down and go to sleep instead of being up on the road, almost getting into an accident and stuff like that. But that comes with costs as well. And so you have that on top of trying to pay for some insurance for yourself. Like, that's kind of hard to do, especially with you being high risk like that. They're not going to cover you with no cheap premiums.
Right.
So you're going to be paying a whole lot of money. Now, somebody like a CM Punk can probably afford it. Somebody like a Mustafa Ali is not going to be able to afford it. So I think that's where, like, there's a little bit of a disconnect because I understand that you should be able to pay for your stuff because you make a good amount of money, but that only works for the people that make a good amount of money because a lot of them, they don't when it's all said and done.
Chris Black, you got anything that you want to throw in there real quick before I jump back in?
No, not really. I pretty much said my piece on it.
Yeah, the one counter argument, and it's not really a counter argument because I agree with everything that you just said, Mustafa, is that the people who are making probably that $50,000 a year are, never mind. I was gonna say, they're not the people who are necessarily probably having to come to every single show. They're not out there like a lot of other people, but they may be. Who knows? But it's also like being an independent wrestler yourself. You go to show you've done shows in other. I don't know. I was gonna say you've done the travel and different things like that, and maybe you weren't even probably making at certain points in your career and everything like that, even the 50,000, but you were able to do it. One thing that I've noticed about some of the wrestlers and different things like that, and especially like in WWE, they live together, like they'll get an apartment and they live together. What would be stopping like three wrestlers who are making that $50,000 a year to say, hey, how about we invest our money in getting ourselves a bus and we travel together and different things like that to save on some of those expenses to be able to cover some of those things. But I think that would be getting away from the topic of like the insurance and everything like that. So
that could work, but then what will end up happening is, let's say all three of us decided we're going to get a bus, we're going to start traveling together. Then Chris Black gets traded to SmackDown, and then now
I was
he
about
can't
to
travel
say
with
that.
us.
Yeah. With the way things are organized now, but as we've seen over the past several weeks, and like people who listen, they listen to our predictions and everything like that. If you made it this far, thank you. That brand split is damned right now. Like there's been so much crossover over the past like 2 months that's how you can kind of tell that the brand split is going away, or they don't really give that much of a damn about it, which is going to make it even more interesting when we have this international draft or whatever it's supposed to be following WrestleMania. So, but they haven't even been mentioning it on television, and you would think that they would want to build up hype for that episode of Raw leading into Mania. And I don't even think Mania has been hyped as well as it could be hyped. Like, there's a lot of people I know who are like casual wrestling fans, and they're like, I'm talking about our show and everything like that with them, and that we have so much content coming out, and they're like, oh, well, what's going on? And I'm like, it's WrestleMania. Like, WrestleMania? They're like, I thought that was in March, and I'm like, no, it's pretty much in April. They're like, I haven't heard anything about it. I usually watch WrestleMania. I think that this.
Well, I mean, think about it. What are the major? If you are a casual fan, what about this WrestleMania is going to draw you in? Batista? It was about the only thing that's pop culture related.
And hyping up the first ever women's championship. And if the last time you really watched wrestling was maybe like 2009, you'd be like, the women main event in Mania. What? All right, bra and panties?
Well, that's true.
Bra and panties?
But I mean, there's no superstar, like, I don't know, pop stars that are involved in this year's WrestleMania.
Well, here's one thing I can say. We all do this podcast. I'm pretty sure we all look up wrestling news stories and wrestling content and do some research for the things that we discuss. How often do you get a WWE pop-up on your Facebook as an ad saying, hey, tune in WrestleMania this Sunday? How often do you get that on any of the websites that you go through that where like WWE is like wrestling is being advertised to you?
Well, that's not really fair because WWE has talked about so much through our feeds and stuff like that. It's not directly coming from WWE, but there's a presence.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Okay, I just bought a bed, and I was doing research on my bed. I am bombarded. I bought a bed about 2 months ago now. I still get ads on my Facebook talking about, hey, here's this bed from this company. Here's this bed from this company.
You're talking about the advertising algorithms that they got going on.
Yeah, like, why don't I get anything about WWE on anything?
They're not paying for ads then.
And they should be.
Yeah. But see, they like me, they're thinking that enough people are talking about the product, so you don't really need ads.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, not enough people are.
Mm.
Like we've said on this show, wrestling right now is bigger than it's ever been. And if it wasn't, you wouldn't have people starting up new companies. It just doesn't feel that way. and it doesn't feel that way. Like I said, the content, maybe people aren't tuning in as much as they used to, and they're not tuning in as much, and they're not. I forgot what I forgot the other thing I was gonna say. But for some reason, it's like the merchandise is moving. Like different things that they're doing, different moves. They're expanding across the globe, but I feel like they're forgetting back home. Like maybe they're running those ads over in Saudi Arabia, and maybe they're running those ads over in India, and maybe they're running those ads over in China that they're trying to break into and different things like that.
Maybe
But
they just take us for granted.
right, but I'm like, you run your shows here in the United States, and you wonder why your attendance is down. If I wasn't a part of a bunch of wrestling groups, I wouldn't know that Survivor Series was coming to Chicago. I haven't seen any ads for that on pop up in my feed just randomly. Like, hey, WWE coming to Chicago for Survivor Series. I saw that in wrestling groups. I wouldn't know that like NXT was coming to Milwaukee and different things like that. Like, I don't know. I feel like WWE needs to, first of all, get their commentators to tell more of the story on the shows themselves when they're live on the air. Not forget the history of like feuds that they have going on, and advertise more. Like I don't get it, but we giving you guys our WrestleMania predictions. We gave you guys our NXT predictions, and we touched on some of the news from the past week. Like I said, we're gonna be having a YouTube video, possibly uploaded on Twitch as well, of our Burner Bliss Challenge. You heard all of our predictions with our confidence points. I'm 100% sure that Mustafa is going to be eating some of those chocolates based on his predictions already. So it comes down to Chris Black and I on which one of us is going to be the other person playing Russian roulette with our tummies and booty holes. So be sure to follow us on YouTube, Saturday Night SlamCasters. You can search that and find us on there. We also have an interview on there right now with Skylar Reed. Be sure to check that out and listen to that as well. Go back and check out some of our other content there on the YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Saturday Night SlamCasters as well. Facebook, you can follow. Well, I'll let them give out their social medias. Go ahead.
Xavier Mustafa on Twitter and Facebook.
You can find me at The Natural Chris Black on Facebook and Instagram, and _natural_CB on Twitter. And definitely follow us this upcoming week, especially with WrestleMania Day. We will keep our scores posted so you guys can follow. Just make sure who's going to get tortured.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to be uploading a screenshot of our confidence points and picks to our social media. So like Chris Black said, be sure to follow us on there. We may go live on a live stream as well on either Facebook or YouTube during WrestleMania as well. We'll have to figure out the logistics of that with our WrestleMania party that's going to be going down. And like I said, following WrestleMania, we're going to do a quick little thing, possibly 45 minutes to no more than an hour, just giving our thoughts and feedback on this marathon of a show. And that'll be uploaded for you guys, but likely going to be live streamed as well, and as well as our Burner Bliss Challenge. True 78, Chris Black, Xavier Mustafa. Come get slammed. Holla at your boys. We out of here. Peace.